Hey folks, Gerard's Horticulture Culture, and we're talking about Pilea. If you want to know how to care for a Pilea, I'm about a year and a half, maybe 2 years in with this guy, and I've gotten these guys over here. Then I got that. All of those came from that. Keep watching. Alright folks, my name's Gerard. I'm just gonna be straightforward with you with this plant, the Pilea. It's called like the Chinese money plant, UFO plant, because the leaves are pretty thick and they're circular. They're pretty tough. Alright, thing that you need to know that I've learned about the Pilea is number one, aphids like it. I haven't had any other issues besides aphids in my home, but this petiole is pretty, directly horizontal, holding up this type of weight, and it's got no, only one source of it is just coming out. So what's going on with here, the petiole is full of water in the vascular tissue inside this structure here, and then all this going on. But if you look from the aerial view, they're kind of going out in a complete 360. So what I've learned is to rotate it when I see it leaning. Now you can see it stretching back, so it's constantly going back and forth as I rotate it almost every couple days if it's going to the left or the right. But right now, disadvantage is that it is the fall, so we're not getting as much light, but the plant still is growing. The soil type that I'm using is Happy Frog. It's a real earthy, fast drying. It has a little bit of soil retention or water retention, but it's a earthy mix, all natural mycorrhiza. You want to make sure you get mycorrhiza and that good bacteria to help the plant absorb the nutrients in the soil so it can grow. If you want your plant to grow, you got to have nutrients in the soil because it has to consume something, and what you feed it, just like yourselves, if you feed it well, it'll grow well. If you feed it bad, it'll grow bad. So you got to kind of find that that mix in between, watching out for aphid damage. I have a video prior that I did about aphids, and this is some older damage, but we're okay. We can actually get rid of that. And like I said, it's a tough plant. I was a little bit rough on it, but I just want to get rid of it because it's all about aesthetics. That's all I ask. Just make sure you look good for me. That's all I ask from all these plants over here. Just make sure you look good. Make sure you look sexy over. Look at that sexiness. I'm going to talk to you about that. I'm actually training this plant, but back towards the Pilea. It needs water. I usually water it every 2 weeks, but that's because my humidity, where's the damn, my humidity usually stays at like 55, 60. It's not too bad, but I do have humidity going, cool mist humidifier. If you want to get multiple plants, I would suggest you get something like a cool mist humidifier to add humidity around the plants, just to simulate their natural environment, which is, pretty much a rainforest and such. But humidity is good. You want to keep that like 60s, like above 50, between 70, and just watch out for mold for your house, because you could run into issues if you got too much humidity going. But if you get a gauge, you'll be in the good direction of seeing how to care for multiple plants that look, similar to this thing going on. So once again, soil, watch the watering. You definitely have to have fast draining soil. Make sure you have in your pot drainage. Make sure you got drainage, good drainage. And I have this in a cement planter. And I just harvested some pups over here. And that's one other thing, when your plant, your Pilea, when you get it going, you can either get a couple looks. You can get like the bushy look where all these pups will start to pop out, and then it'll get kind of junk, traffic all in this area with all these plants coming up. So I like to keep just one slender plant going. And let me check the size. Alright, so right now it's about, say it's about 1 foot, maybe a little bit less than 1 foot. So I want to see how tall I can go. But that's pretty much it, guys. That's the Pilea care, all about Pilea. Any other issues that I've had with it, except for the aphids, and like I said, I just rotate it every so often just to make sure the main stem is pretty much straight, because that's what I want. You like the circular motion, so you have to rotate it. And you'll know when your plant need water, or when it needs water, when everything drops down, because it needs a lot of water inside the structure, the vascular tissue, to keep the this is like a similar situation, which you'll see. But I mean, it's all good. Plant still looks great. That's pretty much it, folks. It's good soil, good lighting. You need good lighting. That's another request that this is going to need, so you don't get like lengthy. Like, see how the spacing between the petioles. If the plant needed a lot of light, this would be wider, and it would be wider and wider, the spacing. But you can see the spacing is pretty much uniform. It's not too tight, but it's not too long. You could end up with a Pilea that's like got spacing that wide, and that's telling you that you're not giving it enough light. So that's another thing that the Pilea will show you. You gotta always make sure you stay on top of this plant too. It's not like one of those you can just leave alone for a little bit. They do command some care, and if usually also what I do to keep the tall look is what I do is I snap off the plant just to give it that look. And actually good also is when you're keeping airway, you need good airflow throughout the plant. So if you do decide to get this type of bushier look, you just want to make sure you have airflow throughout the leaves, and you should be golden. If you got any other questions, I just broke another leaf. I'm so gentle with this game, but it's tough. You got to treat it like it's tough, because it's a plant. You know what I mean? It's supposed to be. It's not like no little, bubble. It's a tough plant. You just got to give it the requirements that it needs to be tough, and everything that it needs. The soil nutrients, the right lighting, and the TLC. If you got any other questions, you can check me out at Instagram at Gerard's Horticulture Culture, or you can contact me in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Keep growing.